So, and that is like this pivotal moment in the reascension of the soul to this condition. Okay, this is the objective, to get back to being able to merge in the soup, to get back to being able to merge with God and to merge with all the other souls who can merge with God. That's the whole purpose of everything right now. That's the plan of salvation, is to get us back home. Home being the ability to merge and connect this completely with God and with our spiritual brothers and sisters. And this moment when we can reunite and become a single soul again is a pivotal, and there are several pivotal moments, but this is a pivotal moment in the progression of the soul. And I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, that at that point there would be no further necessity to incarnate on Earth. Okay? In other words, anybody who's on Earth is still in the half-soul condition, and therefore the immediate goal, the first level goal, is to be able to effectuate a merger, okay, merger again, with self. Okay? So, unitive consciousness is not just about pleasure as a human being. It's not just about if you are conscious of yourself as part of a whole group of individuals who are all the same, and if you approach them without self-centeredness, they will receive your energy, you will get energy back from them, and you'll be replenished by universal forces, and you'll feel really, really good. That is all true. But it's also true, and from a spiritual point of view, far more imperatively important, I would say, that acquiring unitive consciousness is a step towards being able to accept merger. You know, as long as you think that you're totally separate and you're totally uniquely different, the concept of merger has to be contrary to the foundation of who you believe yourself to be, and you have to resist it. Okay? So to understand oneself correctly is a necessary prerequisite to being able to reunite as a single soul, and then further down the line to be able to jump back into that unbelievably blissful soup where all these souls who miss us since the fall are craving reconnection with us, and where there's some part of us who still remembers, which craves that reconnection. Okay, that craving is the fuel of the plan of salvation. The plan of salvation is not merely in order to be able to have a better and more rewarding life on earth. Okay? So one more thing to say about this is to talk more about what the obstacles to merger are. One piece of that obstacle is just that there's a belief I'm a separate individual, and therefore to merge must be to die, to become annihilated, because merger can't be consistent with being a separate individual. So there's one piece of resistance. And the other piece of resistance, I think, is alluded to in the lecture on unconscious negativity obstructs involuntary process. which is in the 160s, I think. What it says there is that in experiences which are similar to merger or similar to death, like, for example, in the experience of lovemaking, orgasm, so forth, that the kind of letting go that happens in that experience releases the energy that's holding up this wall here, okay? The wall comes down during those kinds of involuntary experiences, and suddenly stuff that the ego might not be that comfortable with and might not really be that prepared to experience can flood into consciousness. And so when there's this unconscious negativity, when there are these bits here that are charged and negative and not integrated and threatening to the ISI and so forth, there's going to be a holding, a keeping this wall up, and therefore a resistance to involuntary process that relaxes that. And just intuitively, does it not make sense that this experience of merger is the kind of ultimate involuntary process? I mean, imagine yourself actually fusing, you know, with the other half of you. You know, just really sink into what that would be like, what kind of a letting go there would have to be to allow this whole other kind of consciousness to merge with the consciousness that you have and to expand and share being like that. I think of it as something that would be you know, overwhelming, and you know, that would be frightening, even though on another level I might be welcoming of it. I can really imagine that I would have resistance to that, and yet it's a resistance that I would really like to overcome. So I'm interested in progressing towards unitive consciousness, because I want to be whole again. I want to be a single soul. I want to get off the earth plane. I want to move into levels of learning that are gentler and I don't want to say easier, but more pleasant, which is what the promise, the lectures say, that, you know, once we kind of get up above this level, that learning continues, but it's more pleasant. So, and that's a self-centered way of looking at it. I agree, but so be it. So anyway, that's when I talk about unitive consciousness, and when I'm going to get next, I'm going to get into, you know, how we operate as an organization in terms of leadership and helpership and conflict resolution and so forth. You're going to hear this perspective in terms of the imperative of making connection, the imperative of creating community, the imperative of coming together. All things which sometimes when I talk about them I feel don't resonate for people. They might continue not to resonate, but I want you to understand this is what informs it as far as I'm concerned. So